Hello, hello. Welcome to the second edition of Chapten's Corner Fantasy Edition. I'm your host, Matthew Harris. Here alongside me again is Dustin Richards. How are we, mate?
Mate, I am fantastic. Look, fantasy score for myself was not big last week, but we're pushing for a top um, point this week. I'm just gonna apologise to all the viewers. I got three sausage dogs at the moment. I'm looking after, so if they're pretty loud, I'm sorry. They're all children, so
Come
yeah.
on now, you're making me hungry. Just killing for a hot dog now. God damn it.
That's why we nicknamed them the Snags. Oh, yep, there you go. There's one of them.
That's fine. I'm fine with that. Um, should we get straight into things?
Yes, let's do that.
So, team of the week. We start
So
with you.
yeah, so team of the week was pretty consistent from last week, to be honest. Tyler Agmatungi at fullback once again. Back five, no surprise, Corey Bell, Tyrone Clay, Cody Mansell, and Bunzy Cambola. So three fresh faces in that one. Big shout out to Tyrone Clay, 185 Supercoach points. Now he did get beat by 1 point, but that is still pretty spectacular from Tyrone Clay, who filled in that fullback position for Souths this
A
week.
hat trick would do that for you, right?
Mate, honestly, we thought Dom Pongston scoring week one at fullback was pretty big, and then Clay just comes out and kills it. So good on him.
Didn't he score two
Having a look
tries
at
in
his
2 minutes?
stats, pardon?
Didn't he score two tries in 2 minutes? Like he scored and then scored
Yeah,
halfway
he.
through the next set too.
I think he did. He made a break and then off a kick, maybe it was. I can't remember for certain, but he did pretty well. He got 320 run meters, six line breaks, and three tries. No tackle breaks, obviously, but he did pretty well to get those six line breaks.
Yeah. And I'll mention that the halves here. The one guy to beat Tyron Clay by that 1 point was Kieran Wells. Got 186. We'll get further into his stats soon enough because he is our highest scorer for this week. Um, we got Daniel Hellier, 176 from hooker, not too bad. In the back, not the back row, in the props, the front row, we have Jackson Allison 92, Jordan Williams 89. Solid performance from both of them.
Yeah, Allison going down to the losing side against the Cowboys, 30 to 18 it was, and then Jordan Williams, you know, two
Don't
props
say
that
it. Don't
did
say it.
lose. Um, yeah, look, you got the hook right there, mate. At the end of that, I thought you boys were pretty good. Both teams are solid, but yeah, unlucky to get the chockies in the end.
Yeah, unfortunate indeed. For our high scoring hooker, we have Eddie Oliver 168. He was solid in that loss to the Knights. And
Yeah, pretty scrappy game from both sides there, but Eddie Oliver, high scoring primary hooker, we'll say. Great to see that. New Broncos coach, as it was announced, so congrats to him.
congratulations,
And
my
then,
bro.
yeah, fresh. It's always good to see a rookie take up the captaincy. He's very intelligent when it comes to rugby league like four, an all around great bloke, so I couldn't think of anyone better to replace good old Jilly. But moving into the second row, it was our buy of the week, Jesse Bennett, 111 super coach points. So what did we say? We went into discussion with this, and I think he surprised no one, really.
Did he not get 200 plus meters as well in just 60 minutes?
Um, Let me have a look. He got 201 run meters, 17 tackles, two missed, three line breaks.
Yeah, just outstanding. It's night and day compared to his first 2 weeks. That's what
Certainly was,
starting can
he
do
was
for you.
exactly right. And, he did play 60 minutes, so I will let everyone know because look, you'll be blind if you're not seeing it, and we did it last week. Uh, Me and him will be switching roles at half time, so he'll be playing the first 40 at left. I'll be playing the second half, the pretty we describe, and then I'll be playing the second half at the left back row position, and then we'll be playing 20 minutes each of prop, pending what side, probably be the right one, as you know, Jesse's the better prop there on the right side. But our next second rower narrowly loses to Jesse. Kobe Johnston, 107 points.
So I didn't
And then
actually.
our lock,
Oh, wait, you go, you go.
what was that, sir?
I was going to say I didn't
Well,
actually notice Johnston too much in that game, but then looking at his stats, oh, absolutely solid. I mean, that's just what happens when it's a well-oiled machine. Is you don't really notice individuals because everyone's doing their role.
yeah, that's exactly right. And there's some big standouts for that Cowboys side, especially Tyler and Kieran and Damien Moana. Three boys that really did good, and the individual efforts will go unnoticed at times, and that's Kobe Johnston.
That's it. You want to continue with the team list?
Yeah, so Aaron O'Hare will round out our 13 with 135 points at lock. O'Hare, look, he could be a big pod um, going into the later portion of the early rounds, especially because Rabbitohs have kind of got an easy draw. There's still a lot of competition around the next couple games, but they look like a great side.
I mean, O'Hare is versing the Warriors this week.
Yeah, was O'Hare? No, versus Newcastle this week. Aaron is so they come. Knights are
You
coming off a
versed
scrap.
them last week. I am out of it, mate. I am out of it.
Look, mate, it's Sunday night. I'm tired too. Don't you worry. I got to keep looking at SRL website to see who we're versing.
Yeah, this is the second of three podcast I'm going to be in. So yeah, I'm already I'm already on afterburners, eh?
Well, I got to listen to Into the Mines.
Please don't. Not
Please don't.
not the first 10 minutes. Just skip past that.
Oh, don't think I can, mate. I got to
Oh,
watch it now.
jeez,
Shouldn't have
Rick.
said anything.
Oh, jeez, Rick.
Um, we all know you lost a bet to Willie K. It's all good. You're not the first one to lose one. But rounding out the bench, we have Tim James, 166, Sonny Tyre, 161, Eli Barnes, 141, and Chris Lord, 127. Now you'll notice that isn't the highest scoring team you could like because I want to make the best 17 realistic because you can't have 7 million hookers. So I decided to put Eli and Chris Lord there to show that you can have a realistic team, as I would say.
So we have five fullbacks instead.
Yeah, we got five fullbacks, but we got CTW. We got CTW, all right. Listen, but yeah, look, with that five fullbacks, he's not going to be one of our buys, but Cody Mansell could be a good pickup within the coming weeks. I will say that now. Um, our captain, we mentioned him before, and he's the gun of the week, Kieran Wells.
I got his stats up here if you want me to list it off.
Go ham, mate.
Alright, so 232 run meters, which is pretty stock standard for hookers nowadays. But 26 tackles with only two missed. Solid work in defence there. Two tackle breaks, one line break, and a try. Not to mention kicking 5 from 5 conversions.
Yeah, I think that was the big thing about having Kieran Rolls as well. He's going to score your points pretty well because he's goal kicking. So if the Cowboys continue to pile on points, I don't think they've scored less than 30 this season. So if he's getting every conversion, it's an easy 5 conversions, pretty good points there. He's worth a fair bit of cash now, unfortunately. So unless you got a lot of spare money lying around somewhere,
That
he
I
could
do.
be a. Well, I do too, but I already got him. So he could be a buy going into the last couple of weeks of the season.
Absolutely. So that's our gun of the week, our captain as well. So just so we're aware, guys, gun of the week's always going to be the highest scoring player. Because you
Yeah.
can't not be the gun if you scored the most. But yeah, an absolute outstanding performance. I think he's been up there in every single game this season. Like,
Well,
Wells was the
he's
one that
averaging.
got 212, right, in the first week.
Yes. So Kieran did has had an absolutely outstanding first 3 weeks. 212, 171, and 186. So he's got a fair bit of points. He's currently averaging 190 off 3 games.
That's crazy.
So yeah, and look, he started out below 700k.
I regret not picking him
So
up.
I
But
think a few people will be at the moment. It's one of those boys. Is like you had. I think you had to risk it to get him in, unless you 100% knew he was going to be playing 80. But yeah, listen, it's forgive and forget. You got the cash laying around. Maybe you splash some stuff. If you got a hooker or a half that has reached a pretty high break even, and you don't think he'll be able to gain you any more money, think about selling him, selling that player, and then maybe look at Kieran because I think he's going to win you. He's potentially he's going to win you the comp.
I agree 100%. Um, should move on to the dud of the week, and I guess I should be the one to mention that. The dud of the week this week is Isaac Edwards, scoring only 21 points. Played 80 on the centre, 6 runs for only 33 metres, 3 tackles, 2 missed. Did get a line break, so that 21 could have been worse. But yeah, I hate to say that about one of my Manly boys, but yeah, not the best performances out at centre.
Yeah, I think it was a fall from grace, to be honest. From with you, he didn't start off well because there was that switch. Did you switch KCK and him at half time in the first week?
In the first week, well, actually the first 2 weeks, they had
Yeah.
that switch at half
So
time.
he was going to bound to make you some cash, I believe, if he was going to continue that role. But unfortunately, playing at centre for 80 minutes on the right edge is going to be costly. He's still going to make you some money. In fact, he's only going to gain you $41,000 if you bought him and selling him. So, in my opinion, if he's going to continue to play that role at Manly, it's a sell. You got people that we'll mention later, but you got your Blake Harris out there who's now worth a little bit money, 624. So if Blake Harris continues to have that sixth spot, definitely look to move him around. To be honest, I would move Isaac to Blake Harris this week. I'm not personally. I'm doing something else, which I'll tell you later.
On that note, should we move to the selling duds?
Well, did you have a little announcement with Isaac?
Yeah, I will say that. So we do have Isaac Edwards as one of our selling duds, but I'll preemptively announce this as it's already been confirmed. Isaac Edwards will actually be traded off to the Panthers for O'Shea Ole. Um, they're offering him a starting gig, probably playing 80. I'm never going to stand in the way of my players getting better opportunities elsewhere. So first of all, I want to welcome O'Shea back to the club. Would loved having you here in the past, and we're going to love having you again. Isaac Edwards, we got one more week to go, so let's hope you actually up that average, get more than 21. Um, but yeah, so if you're looking to sell him, maybe hold off on that now, just because he will be playing halves, not this week but next week. But yeah, that's like I
Yeah,
am an owner of Isaac Edwards, so considering he's going to go start in the halves again, I will actually hold on to him.
yeah, that's fair. Will you be playing him in your 17 this week?
Not this week, no.
Yeah, if you have, I think for owners currently, if you don't have a third halves option to play instead of him, it could potentially be a sell, in my opinion, because you don't want one of your halves to get below 60. And even then, Isaac could be looking at roughly around a 30 again. If a Manly side put on that many points and he's still only got 21, it's not great signs, in my opinion. If I was an owner currently and I didn't have a third halves option, I would be selling and I would be getting a half that would be playing 80 minutes, a cheap half. And to me, that's going to be Blake Harris or the guy I'm going to be mentioning later. We
Yeah,
also got you also got to think Anthony Delaney is on the bench for Penrith at the moment. So you got Sion Matatus, Anthony, and Isaac. So until for me, until I know what that rotation is going to be like, I'm not going to buy Isaac. I think potentially he could go down a fair bit of money, get a low break even, and then when he's like pretty cheap, I think that's when I'm going to pick him up because you got to remember if you score very low one week and then score high the next week, that low score is going to still be in your break even for around 2 weeks.
well, that's it. On that note, probably should move on to our second selling dud, which has a lot to do with our first hot buy as well. But our next selling dud's Brody Kennedy.
Yeah, gonna say it now. What a fucking pain in the ass. Um, bit me in the ass, bit all of us in the butt because Joey Kelly has now moved to fullback, and with that, Brody Kennedy moves to centre. Brody Kennedy, currently worth $1.1 million, break even of 124. My opinion and the history within the SRL, there's no way a centre can get that. I don't think he can even reach 60.
It's the reason why KCK was bought by nobody in the first round, is because he was worth 1.2 or 1.3 at centre.
Yeah, and now look at him. If you didn't, I think if you didn't buy him for within like now, if you don't buy KCK now, you're pretty much done for. For me, $1.1 million high break even. That's a sell.
If you have
Uh,
him, 100%, no questions asked, you have to sell him.
yeah, it's no question, and anyone would, this isn't me trying to be rude, but anyone with a brain would see that. In fact, if I go to
Even people without a brain would be able to see that. That's why I got rid of him.
well, I didn't have anyone really, so I was a I was just living life. I didn't have Brody Kennedy or Joey Kelly at the start. In retrospect, looking at my team, I probably should have started with Brody, maybe, because of my fullback. My fullback currently is Chance Bunce, and he scored. No, I don't think he scored anywhere above 100, and he's now worth less than 700k. So I need Chance to have a good game, so then I can sell him because at the moment he's not worth the starting 17 spot. I might have to move some stuff around, and potentially it could be Chance could be an upgraded to Joey Kelly next week.
Alright, so speaking of, our first hot buy is in fact Joey Kelly.
Yeah, so Joey Kelly here. Previous price was 1.2 million. You're gonna buy him for 400 grand. So you're gonna get um, you're gonna save $800,000, and to me that's outstanding. He at the moment he's averaging 135.7 points per game at fullback. That was last season. You remember, he was one of the top three fullbacks in the league with Brody, Joe, and Chaz last year. This has really come back to bite us in the arse, and it's going to bite owners who sold him last week in the butt too. He's got a low break even. He's going to play fullback for 80.
Right, yeah, I'll say right now, 400k for a starting fullback who's likely to be playing that 80. Honestly, a fullback playing half a game is going to score more than someone worth 400k anyway. Must buy. I'll say it right now. I'm putting him in my squad. My wingers aren't too flash, so he's straight in, and I reckon he's in for a big game.
From my side, it's a bit different because I didn't trade out Liam Rogers last week because I had another issue. One of my other players went inactive, so I needed to fix that hole quickly. So I did. So I did the Tyler Reston trade, and I did the trade to save my inactive player. So I had to get Jesse Bennett in this week.
100%. I thankfully got Bennett in last week.
Oh, I bloody regret it, to be honest. It's going to be a tough one for me in the next couple of weeks because I'm still... that week of trading kind of suffered, and I'm still getting those... not... those post-team blues, you know? You know when you make a team and then all the players that you had don't live up to the hype?
You thought they were going to go.
That was kind of me. Yeah. It's that you see one pre-season game of them and thought they're going to be a fucking god this season, and then they turn out to be horrible.
Yeah, I felt a little bit of that. Thanks, Brody.
I suffered it in Supercoach this season as well, like NRL Supercoach. Fucking read mine.
Same here. There's a couple that I've made errors on. On that note, shall we move to the next hot buy?
Yes, so this is going to be the trade I think a lot of people will need to make now, because if you do it next week, it's not going to be worth it. This to me is it's not a point-seeking player, it's a money-seeking player. Right now, that's Jaden White. Now, if you remember Jaden White, he played hooker for Waz 2 seasons ago. And at the moment, he's a bench player. But now, he's got that starting hooker spot back. His previous price was $716,000. At the moment, $390,000. So if you do your math, that's roughly about a $400,000 price difference. A little less than that. But for me, he is averaging 42 off the bench. But as a hooker, he's averaging 140.
So I'll say right now that Jaden White would be the perfect player to buy in replace of Isaac Edwards, because you're actually still going to gain money on that deal.
Yeah, 100%. And it's going to be that. So it owners tend to do sell. What they can do, they buy Jaden White. He suffers a bit next week with his break even and his price, so he'll plummet. And then after this week, you can get the money off Jaden, you go back to Isaac, and you have a lot of money left over to go to another player that you're looking for. And that could be your Joey Kelly, that could be an upgraded second rower, possibly a prop from what I'm looking at the moment. A lot of people are suffering in that forward area, especially people who owned Taifehu from the Storm. Him being injured is pretty bad for some people because I know they took a rookie in that lock area, mostly being Quinton Cotter. So, Quinton can get some points, but he's playing props, so he won't get a high area.
I
So,
thankfully am not on that boat. I picked two good lock choices in Chris Lord and Bo Sadler.
oh, well, there you go. So you did the smart thing.
Yeah, I wanted to make
You're
sure
looking at it.
the main scoring positions had good players in it, and then just kind of went rookies in the less scoring positions like center wing and prop.
Yeah, I can definitely see that, but my thinking, and this is where this is the fantasy is so great because you can build your team so differently. I think if you were going to, for me, I had to put some established players in that center wing spot, and it was so great because you had so many players who had dual position, so I could get the Dom Thompson, the Corey Bell, and all that, and then fill it out with rookies like your Hone King, your Marcus Square.
Well, that's it. On that note, should we move on to the last segment?
Yeah, so captains this week. You got a couple good ones here. For me, first round, first game of the round, it's going to be Rabbitohs Newcastle, I believe. I would go Kevy Dix or Tyron Clay, but you don't know how they're going to span out. So I've gone with kind of a safe option and gone with Liam Ryan as your VC. Liam's been on a pretty good roll lately. If I get his previous points up, where is he? 98, 77, 124, averaging about 100 points there. He scored 299 this season. So, 99 points around there. Worth $1 million, so he can be he's affordable in my opinion. Uh, or if you do own Kevin Dixon, averaging 136 over the 2 games he's played, he's a good VC option as well.
I do just want to cut in for a second. I can hear you fine right now, but your mic is playing up a little bit. I can hear like robotic noises slightly.
Okay. Can you hear me okay now?
Still got the robot.
Okay. Give me 2 seconds.
Easy, easy.
How's that?
Keep talking.
Yo, 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 yo.
It's still there, but
Can you
not
hear
as
me?
bad. We can talk through this.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I think Liam's going to be pretty alright. Kevin Dixon as well. Even Jesse, if you wanted to do a VC that could give you high reward, high risk, high reward, definitely this guy.
I agree. Who's next VC?
So it's going to be one of our hot buys, and it's going to be Joey Kelly, averaging 135 at fullback, up against a. Let me have a look. Sorry, this matches is loading a fair bit. So Auckland versus Brizzy at Mount Smart. We all know how poor the defense of the Warriors can be as of late. Look at how much Tyron Clay scored. He's got to be that 100. I think Joey Kelly can be a solid VC option. For people who didn't VC Clay last week, you're probably kicking yourself in the nuts because he was a good. He was the second highest scoring player, so I think he wanted to in my opinion.
I agree. Joey Kelly is in for a big game. Um, I'll do the next two, as they are both
Yep,
mainly
go on.
players. Um, Personally, I would swap their two roles. So we got KCK as a VC option, averaging 132 at fullback. Um, Personally, I think he would be a decent captain option. Um,
Yeah, I think so too. Looking back at it.
Yeah, he. The only worry is he can be rocks and diamonds. So sometimes he might not be involved at all at fullback. Sometimes he's doing everything for the team. Um, go back to round one last season. I won't go too far into that, but he knows. um, but then you also have games where he's done, absolutely nothing, like, the finals last season.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I had to get one back on him there. And then Dingo as a captain or a vice captain option. He's averaging 119 in the 5'8" role. Solid pick. I don't think he's ever had a truly bad performance at 5'8". Like if he's ever made a couple of
Yeah, I
errors,
think
he's got more try assists than errors. He's always doing something. He's always getting his hands on the ball and creating.
I think it's a great thing about having um, a VC or captain option at 5'8". They're touching the ball every set, no matter what. If it's kicking, if it's passing, even if it's running. So, we know how good Chaz Dingo's running game can be. We've seen it time and time again. And this could be a dangerous game for Parramatta. Para are really good, and they've won one game. They've taken the knife to Newcastle, and they've got very close. But at the moment, it's they're looking a bit shaky at times. They've moved a couple boys around. Luke Short is going to be starting lock, which is pretty good for people who own him. I'd also like to point out that there's been another change. Attila Sentendag will now move to left second row, so I'm pretty happy at that. Not gonna lie. And looking at you boys, you haven't changed a fair bit, have you?
Uh, just a
We've
bit
had with Daniel Punch coming in.
punchy coming in and the Dingo KCK swap. I will
Yeah.
say one thing which did have a look. Oh, okay, yeah, never mind. I thought you were wrong with Settendag going to 11, but I mixed up Settendag and Barisic, so I'm gonna have to change that in my notes for my other potty. That's my bad. Like I said
All good,
before, I'm
mate.
out of it. I'm out of it. Now,
You
yeah,
too much celebrating after becoming the Roosters captain, eh?
honestly, straight up, I forgot to do my interchange. Like interchanges for the week too. And Lachlan reminded me on Saturday. I'm like, oh crap, I've never done that before. I will add one more thing onto the Dingo as a captain. Um, Before we move on, the last time he played 5'8" against the Eels, he scored the match-winning try in Golden Point. So he's good for a try against the Eels.
Well, there you go. So, you said that about Jesse Bennett last week, and he didn't score a try. So I don't know how
Hey, he did score
trustworthy you
big
can
though.
be.
That's the end of it. All right. No,
Yeah, all right.
no,
I'll
I
let you
don't
have
think I
that one.
said. I actually, yeah, I did say Bennett's good for a try, but we did also say Weston was good for a try, and he scored two.
Yeah, mate, you should have seen me in the voice chat with Rabbitohs. I was jumping for joy because they thought I had brought who was it? They thought I brought someone else, and I didn't. And I was jumping for joy. I have a lot of manly players, so you boys better not fucking disappoint.
Oh, I'll try, okay?
Hey,
um,
I'm gonna be honest. You're on a chopping block, mate. If you score anything below an 80 this week, you're fucking done for.
I wouldn't have
Chris
even
Lord's coming
picked
in.
me. I'm playing prop. What are you doing? Like I was worth lock money
Look,
playing prop.
yeah, look, bad mistake on my behalf, to be honest. Because I was under the impression that you were going to be playing left second row for some reason, and Milo came in and
That
killed
that
it.
was
So
that was the original plan, but then Milo got the second row and I changed it. Um, the next captain option though, doesn't need much saying. He was our
yeah,
captain of the week. He was He's just Kieran Wells. He's a good one. He's a goal kicker. He's a hooker. It's not much to lose.
Yeah, not at all. The Cowboys are going to be up against a Canberra Raiders side that, you know, has has had better defense. They were able to score in golden. They were able to kick a field goal to win, 24-25. All of the games have been pretty close for Canberra. Uh, in fact, they've all been decided by 2 points.
Except for the last
But
one, that's 1 point.
yeah, well that's true. Within 2 points, I should say. Whereas they're going up against a Cowboys side that has the lowest score, in fact, has been a 30. They've
And
scored
they've done
30
all this
at
the second
30
game too.
plus every week. Oh, look, they're a powerhouse, and anyone who thinks they're not in the premiership contention needs to think again. These boys are going to be dangerous all season, and if your side's coming up them, be careful. Also, if you play a side, if the Cowboys are playing and you have a lot of their opposition, so for example, if you boys have a lot of Canberra players, you could be in for a little spanking in the points. But in all seriousness, Kieran Wells, we spoke about his stats earlier. He's a straight captain in my opinion. I'm going to straight captain him this week again. I wouldn't doubt he could score another 170 plus game.
Agreed. For our last captain, which honestly, if I had him, I'd be captaining him this week. It's Corey Bell, averaging 145 at fullback. He I think he scored a double against what is one of the better defensive sides in the comp. He's always in and about, and now he's versing Panthers. I honestly expect Bell to
Yeah.
go really good.
And you spoke about it last week, Matt, and you said every time you simmed against Storm, Corey had something to say against
Yeah,
Hughes.
he was scoring at least 2 tries, and he did it in the real thing too.
Well, I think they're up against a Penrith side who leaks a lot of points at the moment. Uh, they don't have Isaac yet. That's not until the following week. Looking back at every Penrith game, they've lost by. They've conceded a lot of points. They conceded 48 to Newcastle, 34 to Cowboys, and 25 to Canberra. They are currently 0-3, as are the Warriors. So Corey could be a good captain option. Even Sonny Taylor in that instance.
100%.
Sonny, I think, has gone not unnoticed in the Super Cup in the fantasy aspect, but as a player himself, he's been really good for Storm, and you know, it's anyone's game at this point. To be honest, it's kind of like the Formula One. Uh, if the Cowboys keep going the way they are, people could just be fighting for second and considering it a win as first place because
Not if we
Cowboys.
have anything to say about it.
Well, when do you verse each other? Because I can't wait for that match.
I'm actually not too sure. I'll give it a quick look.
15th of August.
That is
So-
must-watch footy. Oh, that's like what, 2 or 3 weeks time.
Well, that is literally in. Hang on. The website will load properly, please. Because I'm on bad internet. So we still got a couple of weeks. It's 4 weeks away at this point. It's round 7. We're in round 4 now. Yeah, round 4. So, oh wow, that's gone quick. We could be seeing. Well, they got a pretty 50-50 next couple of weeks. You got Canberra this week, Cowboys, Storm next, Newcastle, and then you guys. And depending how my South boys go, I know you hate us, man, but come on, you gotta give us some slack. We have been pretty good the past two matches,
Yeah, it's hard to get your teeth knocked
and
out
we
when
were
you don't have any.
oh ha 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 ha
Haha,
ha ha ha.
comedy.
Comedy. You
Nah,
reuse the joke that everyone says every 2 minutes. Yep.
that's why I
Hey,
had to
at
yell
least we don't.
comedy to make sure they know.
At least we're not the riff. All right. At least we're not Penrith.
These are just basically
So,
Penrith, but in the south of Sydney instead of
oh fuck
the
off.
west. Like the Centrelink
Lies.
applications go strong in both those areas.
Fuck. Look, to be honest, I can't really comment on it because I don't even live in Sydney. I live in bloody Queensland, so I live in a better state already.
Yeah. See, I already live in Sydney, and I've worked both in Penrith and I've been in and around the South Sydney area, and you know what's worse for you, the grog, or or some of that harder shit like the crystal and stuff. Yeah, both bad
Oh,
areas. Let's
Jesus.
just say that.
What's Canterbury like?
Kebabs.
Canterbury Bankstown. Well, just kebabs fully?
Nah. Definitely kebabs. Like I went past Bankstown and I seen like 4 kebab shops on the main strip. I was just going through on the train.
Oh, well,
Um,
well, look, I was in Goldie recently. I wasn't visiting Mark Lee, I promise. But I was in like the central area, like near the mall. Fuck me, every time I turned a corner, there was a kebab and pizza shop, and they were combined into one, and I'm like, what the hell?
I respect that.
I mean, didn't eat any. Wish I did. Might do it next time I'm down there. So,
All right. On that note, that's gonna be it. We've talked over everything.
well, yeah. Yeah, we wanted to make it a bit of a shorter episode because, it's a fantasy pod. We don't want to take up a lot of time with the Chapten's Corner. We want to go more, like you and KCK want to go more in depth, obviously, with the round, and I respect that, and I agree. Um, but yeah, we'll be trying to do this every week at this point. It might be short, but we'll have some good times, I reckon.
40 odd minutes for a fantasy podcast is better than no podcast at all.
Exactly right. And I know you boys are loving it at the moment, and I'm loving doing this with Matt. So until next week, Damien Moana, I'm coming for you, boy.
Okay. Bye bye. Have a great time.